Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for being here. I'm Dhruv from GATI, and the topic for this roundtable is enhancing supply chain capabilities for a great customer experience. So as we've heard, so the way we'll do this session is that I'll just give some introductory remarks, and then we'll go around and hear from the panelists. Since we have a lot of us and we have 1 hour, we'll keep it to 2 or 3 minutes each. So we can leave about 10, 15 minutes for questions at the end of it. So as we heard throughout the day, the big focus was on customer experience, differentiating for the customer, and really finding, building up the loyalty for the brand. And of course, supply chain is a big part of making that happen efficiently and consistently. And I think, speaking from the other side of the table, we found that over the last maybe 2 or 3 years, supply chain is no longer looked at just a cost center. Supply chain has become very strategic. We have a lot of CEOs, COOs, and CFOs engaging with us to see how, what investments are happening in the supply chain space and how we can help build a very responsive, very agile supply chain for the brands, for the retailers. To keep a consistent customer experience all the way in terms of e-com all the way to the last mile, and also to have a consistent experience for products getting into store as soon as possible. So I'll open it up. We'll start with Naseem from Apex Footwear. Naseem.
I thought I could speak last, but anyway. Thank you. The company that I represent, Apex Footwear, we are a manufacturer and a retailer in Bangladesh. We also own and export a brand called Venturini to 110 retailers in 27 countries around the world, in Japan, USA, and Western Europe. And the experience on the supply chain coming from a factory background coming into retail is very interesting because I think the expectations are completely opposite. You use the word agile. Factories traditionally in our part of the world have never been agile. That has never been a KPI. It has always been about stable, predictable production. But if you're talking about customer-centric production systems, your factories also need to become customer-centric. And what we are realizing today is that working with, for example, people like Zalando, who, as you know, are the Zappos of Europe, they are helping us to make our supply chains more responsive. What do we mean by that? You need to put your money where your mouth is. If you want the supply chain to become more responsive, you need to be able to give the factory and the production team forecasts and future orders on material, because what slows down the factory is not the production time, it's the lead time on the material. And especially when you work in leather, people forget that it takes 30 days to make leather. It's not PU that you can make in 3 days to 7. So I think that's the first takeaway that I would like the panel to consider, that especially in the leather space where we operate, we find that partners who partner with us to take position, forecast, and forward orders on material, and most importantly, take care of the material at the end of the season when the orders don't come. Those are the partners that we like, and those are the partners that make us agile. I'll stop here.
Yeah, Mr. Akhil from Florence Shoes.
Thank you for giving me this opportunity today. See, basically, we as a company, Florence Shoe Company Private Limited, has been manufacturing shoes for more than 30 years now. And we have been into US. Our business carries 65% of business to America, and rest to Europe, 25%, and 10% we do in England. With this all vast experience and being in export, last year I started in the retail opportunity, and this year we have the brand launching. We did Gil Roche for the first time in India. They were not earlier in shoe business, they are in the clothing and fashion. So we had the opportunity to bring it to India. The reason is basically mostly the comfort and the fit. I find the shoes which has to be launched in India should have the most comfortable shoes, and plus quality, durability is also one of the main issue, and also the price. In addition to this, with our experience with German customers, there is no restriction on RSL on the restricted substance limits, which has been stipulated in Germany and other countries. So this is what we want to also give it to the Indian population, Indian public, that making whatever the shoes is in Germany, the same standard should carry on India. That's our high motive. There is a lot of potential, as you know, that there is 1.2 billion pairs India produce shoes, and there is a misunderstanding that they say a lot of shoes are being exported. Actually, it is not. Only 10% of the shoes of the entire production of this country is being exported, which is only 10% compared to China, Vietnam and other countries, and also Bangladesh. But most of the are local manufacturers. But we need to have a product which is on par with any European and American brand. That is the only reason we are here, and also with great passion we are introducing this brand. Basically, and also I find that it is very difficult for me to enter into the retail business because of the retail chain which is lacking, and in other countries it's very easy to get a wholesaler in London and England and other countries. In America you can get a wholesaler who will buy the shoes, and even we are also going with this brand worldwide. So country by country we are launching. So first we thought home country, we'll do it here in India. So whereas there is a lot of possibilities, there is called a family channel in America which buys the shoes outright purchase, and there are so many like that, and even in London, England also they have. But in India we do not have that buying as such. So we have directly going to the retailers, and if there is anything I can take later on, I'll take the question. Thank you.
Thanks, Akhil. We have now Darshana from Gap Urban Lifestyle.
Hello everyone, thank you for having me here. I think I had the visual merchandising for 2 international brands for Urban Lifestyle, that is Gap and the Children's Place. I think the logistics or the supply chain for visual merchandising plays a very important role, because it is only when you send the stocks to stores is when we work on the overall presentation of the products. And if the sell-throughs are high, or if the stock turnover is really morning to evening, and if you sell through, the challenge is really how you turn around the store into the best presentation possible. So for that, obviously, you need a very strong supply chain and logistics. If you don't get replenishments on time, if you don't get sizes on time, obviously customer do not want to see a product on a mannequin or a window or on a wall that do not have sizes. So I think my role or our role is more to do with product presentation to ensure how we improve the overall stock turnover and sell-throughs. And that is, I think, where logistics and supply chain can help to ensure that we get that replenishment or the new flow on time before certain hours, non-trading hours, so that we have enough time to expedite and put things up on floor to sales, which is the last means for any retail business. Thank you.
Thank you. Ishan from Alberto Torres.
Hello everyone, I'm from Alberto Torres. We are in India as of now. We are a men's footwear brand across slightly more towards the classical and the formal side. As far as the supply chain importance is concerned, I guess if you have to work, if we're speaking primarily about India, I guess apart from product and price, supply chain is the one which completes the triangle. Because you can have a good product, you can have a good price. If it's not available where it should be and when, it doesn't make that much of a difference. And given the fact that in India, the product reaches quicker from here to London than it reaches from, let us say, Agra to Bombay, we've got a lot to do when it comes to supply chain coverages. So it's quite encouraging, to be a part of this panel. So we see that more and more focus is turning towards supply chain to ensuring the quickness of the material from the source to the destination. And I guess one more part which even the government should consider is it should be easier for us to send the products everywhere. When you've got so many waybills and everything coming in, it hampers the mobility in a country which is already in the country where there's so much friction already. So yeah, it is something which we have to tackle, but it has to be the effort both from us as well as from the government.
Thanks, Ishan. Rajesh from Inc. 5.
Hi, good afternoon. I had a company, we are into organized retail of ladies footwear by the name Inc. 5. We have got roughly around 500 point of sales. The crucial thing, everybody's talking about that, the supply chain, but I feel the most important part should be the reverse logistic. So for people like us, where we have 50 standalone stores and probably 400 point of sales through all the large format like Shop Stop and all, post EOSS, there's the worst pain what any retailer could face, you know. So we are ready with the merchandise back in the warehouse, but the OTBs are not open. So they know how to, you know, stop the POs and stuff like that. So we are ready to launch whatever the autumn, winter you call, spring, summer, anything you call, but it has to be picked. But again, the crucial thing would be once their OTB is blocked, we can't do anything. So for us, reverse logistic is the crucial when it comes to supply chain. And
sorry, can I ask, what is OTB?
Open to buy, what they have there. So typically we get a 6 feet wall, 8 feet wall with a back stock of 800 pairs, 1000 pairs, depend on the category, A, B, C. So if my 800, so end of season sale, we pump in more goods. So probably 2000, we must have, we sell roughly around probably 1200. So 800 is left. So that is the reverse what I have to pick, and my limit is 800. So I'm stuck with that. So there is no OTB from any of the partners, and the goods are ready. So the entire process, so it has to be both the ways. So they also need to act fast. We need fantastic supply chain management guys, as well as the deliveries should leave time to time. That's all. Thank you.
Thanks, Rajesh. Now we have Kunal Shah from PrettySecrets.com.
Thanks, Dhruv. Thank you all for having me. So I represent a brand called Pretty Secrets, who over the past 3 or 4 years, we've essentially been an online brand. We've been selling on our flagship website, PrettySecrets.com, and we're also on all the leading marketplaces. However, over the last 6 months, we've started building our distribution into the offline space. We are getting into a whole lot of multi-brand outlets, your small mom and pop stores across the country. We're at about 300 of these points of sale right now, taking this up to about 1,000 by the end of this year. We are also in talks with all the department stores, large format stores, to expand our distribution to this. And we are also setting up our own EBOs. We launched our first 2 stores last week. We plan to launch 30 by the end of this year and about 300 over the next 2.5 years. So for us, supply chain is going to become a very, very, very integral part of what we're doing right now. I think what we've understood with going offline, I think the most important things are understanding what levels of inventory we need to keep. We want to work on a very, very tight inventory because inventory is one thing which could make or break your offline foray for us. And considering that we're looking at a pan-India expansion right now, making sure that our inventory is in the right place at the right time is what will really define this offline expansion for us. Thanks.
Thanks, Kunal. Mr. Devdas from Shopper Stop.
Good afternoon. See, if you look at every employee's designation in Shopper Stop, we start with the customer care associate. Okay, so that's the way we start. Okay, so it's very clear that we need to take care of our customers. And supply chain, from the very beginning, we were very clear that the supply chain of us to start with the customers and end with customers. Okay, so we have done everything possible till now to meet the customer expectation. Okay, but whatever we have done so far, it's all become hygiene now. We need to get into the another dimension now. See, as far as what we have done so far, we have regionalized our distribution centers. In a GST scenario also, we don't have to do anything now. We have 4 regional distribution centers. We have outsourced 100% of our the logistic setup. We don't manage ourselves. It is 100% outsourced. As Darshana said, we have early morning deliveries to all the stores in the country today. Okay, from wherever you dispatch, whether it is a different state you are dispatching, 8:30 the vehicle will reach. Before 11 o'clock, before the first customer walks in, we will display all the stocks. You will remove the carton, crates, polybag, everything from the floor. The store is ready to receive the customer. Okay, we have implemented global standard barcode with all our partners. Okay, with all the vendors. Today we speak the same language. We don't retag the product. We use the vendor barcode. We have a strong B2B with the partners. Okay, we provide them stock information, sales information across all the stores and distribution centers. We have implemented a warehouse management system. We have an auto replenishment. We have an auto allocation from the distribution center to the stores. So that way, I mean, we have ensured that there is no scenario the stocks are lying in the distribution which is not available in the store. Okay, so that part has been taken care. So, but that may not be sufficient when we are going towards a omni-channel setup. Today, Shoppers Stop is in the journey of becoming an omni-channel player in the next 1 year's time. So we need to have the best technology in place, best process in place, best people in place. So we also started our Shoppers Stop e-commerce. Okay, now we will be moving to a multi-channel and omni-channel. Recently, we have implemented one of the best warehouse management system in the world. Okay, so this we have implemented all the 4 distribution centers. It's started functioning very well. It's 100% RF technology. There is no manual intervention. Everything is scanned. From the moment we receive the stock, it's scanned, put away, and everything. I mean, there is no manual intervention at all. We have implemented an order management system. Currently, we are going to implement a MDM, the master data management. Okay. So, see, one thing is very clear that, the going forward in omni-channel scenario, we need to have one customer identity, one inventory view, one order history, and one single customer experience. So that is a way forward we are looking at. Okay. So we need to, I mean, we are doing everything what is possible for us to reach that omni-channel journey. Okay, whether it is from the technology front, whether it is from the supply chain front. We are also opened fulfillment centers next to our existing distribution centers to cater to the online customer requirements. So we are doing everything what is possible from our side to meet the end customer requirement. Thanks.
Thank you, Devdas. Next we have Ojas from Vitamins.
Hi guys, good afternoon. Thank you for having me for this lovely discussion. Vitamins is a kids wear fashion. We have one EBO, a pan-India presence with 55 shop-in-shops and around 460 MBOs. The challenge that we have over here is to, I mean, kids wear is a category where there are a number of sizes, and there are particular sizes requirements coming from store to store, from location to location. To replenish those sizes, is a big challenge for us. And replenishment on time, that is also required. And the reverse logistics is also one of our main concern. So these are the 3 points that we face challenge. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Ojas. Next we have Simi from Sileo.
Thank you, Dhruv, for this opportunity. I represent here, I heard from brands and backend also. Here I'm going to speak about how I represent Sileo, which is a men's fashion brand. And here, yes, our biggest challenge was to ensure that availability, because customer service, it is not fulfilled without the product being there, right, like what Dakshina said. So what we have found as a challenge was to ensure that this product is made available at whatever cost. So we had a 3-way approach in the brand to handle this. I will, part of it is actually work in progress. But the first thing was we actually consciously said that we have to measure availability. Every week, whichever time it is, we have to ensure that this product is made available, and we worked reverse to say, to get this happening, what should we do? And we figured out, obviously all of us in this table and in this room agree that a bestseller is always out of stock. So we actually at the planning level said, we will build in a system where our bestsellers are replenished. So yes, we have gone to the level of blocking fabrics, and to say, yes, we would do, if this product is a bestseller, we would get an in-season replenishment done. And trust me, this really has taken, this is a big step and has given us a huge impact on the sales. And the second thing what we did was, as rightly enough he was mentioning, replenishment. We made it weekly because we also operate with a lot of doors. We have standalone store, daily replenishment is possible. But you ask Devdas, no, my product has to go to his warehouse and he will run the auto replenishment for shop and shop. So we have ensured that we have adequate backup of the best-selling products with the partner warehouse as well. That was the second step where we ensured that their robust system is latched upon and we get the best advantage of the robust systems which are built by the large format retailers. And last but not the least was to say implementation efficiency. This is a big one because we believe traditionally more inventory in the store results in more sale. But what we did was to say that no optimal inventory to be maintained and maintain adequate inventory in the warehouse so that the stores which sell it actually receive it. So unless you have the stock working for you in the warehouse ready to be pumped into the store which actually sold, whatever robust system we put in place does not work. So yes, there are challenges, and I proudly stand here saying that there are ways to work around it as well. And I think we've been one of those people who are constantly looking at ways to improve on it, and I'll take questions from there on. Thank you.
Thanks, Simi. Next we have Shrikant from Raymond's.
Good afternoon, everyone. I come from the largest retailer in the country, Raymond. We have 4 brands, Raymond, Park Avenue, Color Plus, and Parks. 4 years back, we looked at the potential that we have ahead of us, and one of the things that we want to augment was our supply chain, which was more of being reactive than being proactive. So first thing that we did was put a planning team, which is of demand and supply planners, and connected that to the CRM. From the 4 brands, we cater to many channels, starting from the retail, the trade, the large format stores, and the online space as well. There are 2 sides of supply chain that we work on. One is on the pull model and the push model. But one of the things that came out 4 years back was both these models have 3 things that is to be well oiled. That is on the cost, speed, and flexibility. So to address these 3 issues, the first thing that we said is the data that we need to have, the analytical part, the 3 things, 3 pillars of this stays on the fundamentals of the analytics. So being a descriptive analytic that we used to have, we moved to be a prescriptive model of analytics. The other thing that we did was connect the push model of our supply chain has got the distributor, and then there is a franchisee or a store, then the consumer. So we connected each of our sales executives were given a tab to monitor what the orders they are taking, and that order is connected back to the distributor to replenish, and the distributor inventory is mapped back to the DC. So we quickly send the goods out. So today what we have, that has enabled is vendor managed inventory. We are able to see across the supply chain the visibility, and our vendor is also able to see what is the demand and react to that. So these are the things that we have done in the last 4 years. I'll take questions as we go.
Thanks, Shrikant. Next we have Mahesh from Aditya Birla Fashion.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I am from Pantaloons, Aditya Birla Fashion Retail Limited. I look after the supply chain. So what we have observed in last, say, 2 or 3 years is the consumer expectations have evolved drastically in the marketplace, particularly in an omni-channel world. So traditionally, in a brick and mortar store kind of a format, the consumer expectation was to buy from a brick and mortar store and return the goods whenever they have to return in the same store. Now the consumer expectations have evolved into a very complex environment. So the consumer wants to buy from one store in one city and wishes to return that product into store of the same brand into some other city. They want to buy online, return either from their house or return to the store, buy online, pick at the store, and so on. So this has created tremendous complexity and challenges for the supply chain. So supply chain challenges are multifold in this environment. One is the inventory management, second is the demand forecast accuracy, third is the order fulfillment, and fourth is the returns management. I think the panelists have already touched their concerns on each one of these. So I'll just would like to share briefly what we do at Pantaloons regarding all 4 of these. So to foray and to survive and to perform in an omni-channel world, traditional supply chain requires complete overhauling. The traditional ways of managing supply chain will not work. It requires complete overhauling end to end, right from manufacturing to logistics, transportation, to how the warehouse is managed, and to how the organization structure of the organization works. Traditional organization structures where most of the functions work in silos may not work in today's environment. Require more flexibility in terms of approvals, and approving the returns, approving the inventory. OTB, as Rajesh has mentioned, is suffering because of OTBs of companies like us, and that also has to do with the organization structure. So inventory management, as the organizations grow and get more into automation and into using more and more of IT systems like WMS. Devdas mentioned all their 4 DCs use WMS, ARS, and they are venturing into master data management and so on. So this has become a hygiene nowadays. DC, a distribution center or a warehouse managing without WMS, and your replenishment system managing without auto replenishment system, ARS, cannot be imagined in today's world, particularly in omni-channel environment. But when you get into, when you start using these IT systems, your flexibility goes down. So for your inventory management in a WMS kind of environment becomes quite challenging in omni-channel, where you block some inventory for one channel, you block some inventory for e-commerce, you block some inventory for your brick and mortar stores. Moving that inventory from one channel to another channel is difficult. Even having visibility of the inventory across the channels is difficult. Managing returns and moving that inventory post-returns from one channel to another is difficult, requires approvals. And the system has to support it, because you have to deploy that return stock back to the stores or back into a particular channel for sale. You cannot allow that stock to lie in the warehouse for a long time. So these are the challenges. So flexibility in terms of inventory management, single view of inventory across all channels, and organization structure to facilitate quick approvals to move inventory from one channel to another is what some of the things we have already implemented, and I think this has really helped us in growing in an omni-channel environment. Demand forecast accuracy, of course, the demand forecast tools which the organizations are using have to be much more intelligent than what they used to be in the past. There have to be one good thing which has happened in omni-channel world is the inputs which flow into demand forecasting are immense. So demand forecast accuracy is actually improving. Because when a customer goes on a website, surfs a website, and searches some products and then buys or does not buy a product, what products the customer or the consumer has searched, you have the complete data of that, which you never used to have, which was not possible in a brick and mortar environment. So you know what the customer is looking at. Based on that, you can plan your demand, you can forecast your demand. But again, when we talk about end-to-end supply chain, overhauling end-to-end supply chain, it has to begin from the manufacturers. So we are running a program where we partner with our vendors, with the outsourced manufacturers, where we bring process excellence into their processes, the way they pack the products. The packaging has been modified to facilitate quick movements in our DCs, in our warehouses. We have partnered with our logistics partners to bring some innovative logistics solutions for reducing the lead time and for reducing the cost, hybrid models which never existed in the industry, combination of PTL and FTL and so on, milk run and so on, many things we are doing. As far as the returns management, that's a big challenge, and returns is a reality in the retail business, in brick and mortar environment, as well as more so in the e-commerce environment, where the return percentage is much higher. So how you manage the returns, how you approve the returns, how you deploy back the returns, return stock into your main inventory, that's still a challenge, but modification in the organization structure and intelligent IT systems, I think they can address this kind of challenges. Thanks.
Thanks so much, Mahesh. And we have Pranay from Urban Sourcing and Strategy.
Hi everyone, I'm Pranay. I'm representing the strategic sourcing department of my company. What's unique about Arvind is that we are, though present across all the fashion groups, gender groups, all age groups, innerwear, be it kids wear, men's wear, women's wear, winter wear, every category we have. We are into accessories also, shoes also. So this makes us one of the largest brand house in India, having presence across all the categories. But another unique thing is that we have a 100% outsource model. It means we don't own any manufacturing facility. We outsource it to the different manufacturers and get it manufactured for our labels. So what do we want? Or first of all, what customers want in the industry? They want a new fashion. Every 2-3 months when they go to store, they want to see new collection. And they want the best quality products once they buy it. And what we want the best returns on our investment. It means more sales on full price rather than on EOSS. And of course, better systems in the company. So the core lies at the vendor management and the quality management in our company. The way we are managing our vendors. First of all, in any fashion, there are 3 categories: the core, the essentials, and the fashion. And the major problem with our industry is that we work with small scale industry vendors and unorganized sector, where automation cannot be brought in. There is a lot of manual intervention. So the best part is that how we can automate our internal systems. It means the systems within the company and automation in the communication with the supplier. So what we are doing and we have done is to automate that core and essential category. It means automatic ordering, the order goes to customer, automatic replenishment system from the warehouse, and once the stock is down in the warehouse, automatic order goes to the vendor, this kind of thing. And curate and invest most on the fashion. It means developing the capabilities with the suppliers, that how we can move from maybe 2 seasons in 1 year to 4 seasons in 1 year. Every 3 months, we can bring in new fashion in the market by reducing the lead time right from the fabric stage to the manufacturing stage and delivering it to the warehouse. Once we reduce it, of course, we will have the fashion being delivered right in time to our company. And of course, how we can use, in fact, we are using to improve the quality of our products. It means working with the best vendors. We have a vendor management system in which we segment vendors into different categories, from the strategic vendors to important, essential, and exit vendors. We measure them on different parameters every season, and we make sure that we are working with best of the best vendors. We are trying to consolidate our vendor base to the least and work with the top class vendors at right cost and right time. And using web-based and cloud-based analytics to see that where we are making mistakes, and there is least human intervention in all those systems, so as to get the trends from the market as well as internal data points, that how and where we can improve in. And that's how we'll try that, at least in the fashion category, where the manual intervention is more. We can bring in more sales from the full price rather than reduce the end of season sale value in that case. That's it. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Pranay. I think, Mr. Devdas, you wanted to have some more words.
See, to improve the customer experience, recently we have launched a program called Personal Shopper. Okay, we have done a pilot in one of the stores. And we have launched to a few of the stores that a customer can actually take pre-appointment. Okay, they can actually block their slot. They can come to the store. An expert will accompany them till he complete the entire purchase. Okay, so this program we have launched and the response was very good. Okay, so now we want to implement this across all our stores, that whenever the customer want to pre-book the slot, okay, he can book and somebody will accompany him throughout his shopping and provide the best experience to him. That's one. And we also installed magic mirror in a couple of our stores. Okay, even the experience was very good for the customer. They don't have to take too many pieces to the trial room for trial. They can actually see in the mirror itself, and maybe pick up one piece to the trial room to see the fit. Otherwise, the look they can see in the magic mirror. For e-commerce, we are also planning to use the store inventory. We want to shift from the store so that we can cover the larger pin codes and more cities. That's we want to do it to improve the customer experience. These are the few initiatives we have recently taken to improve the customer experience. Thanks.
Thank you very much to all the panelists. We'll open it up to questions from everyone here. Maybe I'll start with the first one. One common theme across all the panelists was, of course, the importance of managing the inventory, right? Because that's what's getting sold, and that can be, I guess, a big cost at the end of the day if it does not get sold. So, GATI, we do centralized procurement and supplies for the hospitality sector. And we've been doing it for about 4 years. And at the end of 4 years also, we see that the forecast error is still, upwards of 40%. So, to anyone in the panel, I mean, how do you manage, the entire forecasting piece, the error, and segregation of, allocating inventory to various points of sales and the challenges around that, and how do you tackle them?
It starts at the planning, of course. So the first thing what we had done and studied was, yes, the leftover inventory, which we say residual inventory, which is after the USS, which leads to reverse logistics and higher discount, was the biggest consumer of markdown as well. So first thing which we did was to have this problem tackled at the source, which is planning for the season itself. And very, very disciplined, not to buy 100%, but to buy probably pre-season commitment, not to go beyond 85%. What this did to us, we had 15% of our budget available to either test the products which are closer, considering we are a fashion brand, closer to the market, closer to the season. So there was amount of money left for that. But larger part of the money actually was used for replenishing the bestseller in season. So again, this gave us a very big insight because the forecast errors were automatically reduced by 15%, and the budget itself was not 100%. With more and more, all of us around this table have a problem with the end of season sale. So with more and more that being a part of retail culture, we've said, okay, we're not going to buy for it because end of the day you buy for it and then you have additional leftovers. So we take away that. So the budgeting process itself without end of season sale. End of season budgeting is only for clearance of old season stock. And the new season budgeting is a lot more tighter. And over that tighter inventory, tighter plan, we buy 15%. And this 15%, trust me, only 5% or less than 5% was used for fresher merchandise. And the bestseller replenishment actually took away about 10% of our inventory, which resulted straight up. This 10% we're talking about the leftover inventory being reduced. And to take it forward from him, it is classified as core. And then we don't want to run out of stock at any point in this place. We block the inventory for these basics, try to get them at 55 days or 45 days. If it's a knit, it's 45 days. And that can generally get carried over for the next season as well. So by which our errors have come down at least of 20%.
That's very interesting. Anybody else on the panel would like to have a go? Yeah.
Yeah, so errors in demand forecasting, I think with e-commerce coming in will only go up. For organizations which are involved in e-commerce cannot come down in e-commerce environment because you cannot forecast for e-commerce so easily. Particularly with the traditional methods of demand forecasting where traditional historical sales is taken into account, some festivals and some promotions are taken into account and demand is forecasted. That's not going to work in an omni-channel environment. So demand forecast accuracy is a factor of how many parameters go into the algorithm of demand forecasting. So more the number of parameters, more accurate is your demand forecast. So you may have to, in today's world, you may have to consider parameters like environmental, like how long this summer is going to last. If you predict that and build that in your demand forecast, I mean, that's just an example I'm giving. It could be oil prices. It could be factors like demonetization, which no one can predict. But then such external environment factors, global factors, how you incorporate that, quantify that in your demand forecasting algorithm, that will basically help you in improving the demand forecast accuracy. With omni-channel, as I have mentioned, you have better visibility of the buying patterns of the customers in a particular region. So in Mumbai or in Maharashtra, what the customers are looking for and what they want, you can very well judge now if you analyze their buying patterns into sites like Flipkart, Amazon and so on, Myntra, Jabong, whatever access you have. Another thing in a fashion industry, again demand forecast accuracy could be better because it works on season, it works on core, and fashion you don't have to replenish. Right. So you, whatever, if it sells, you don't have to replenish, only core you have to replenish, and core, if you divide the demand forecast accuracy between core and fashion, accuracy of core, demand forecast of core would be much higher than that for fashion. But in grocery retail and maybe in FMCG, it is still a challenge.
So we'll open it up to questions from the audience. Somebody? Anybody? No? Okay. Yeah, we have a question.
Hi. My question is, what is the current use of RFID tags with certain laws being stringent, and how this applies to the Indian supply chain management?
I don't think any Indian retailers using RFID now. Okay, we are also evaluating now. Okay, the cost is definitely a concern. Okay, and if you are using recyclable tag, okay, then it has to start from the source. Then the question is the vendor ready to put that now? Okay, if you are doing at the distribution centers, then your half journey is over. Okay, so this will definitely take some time. Okay, there, the companies have come with dual tagging, which is sensomatic tag, which is the security tag versus RFID tag for the tracking. This will definitely take some time for the Indian retailers to adopt. We are also in the process of evaluating now.
So the biggest challenge is cost?
One is definitely the cost, second is the implementation part. Okay, if you are using a recyclable tag, then you need to send it back to the source. Okay, so the recycling, okay, that logistics would be a challenge for you. Especially, today we deal with 1,000 suppliers. Okay, so that would be a challenge. One is the cost, second the process to be followed to use that, yeah.
Yeah, maybe I'll just add one to that. So RFID tags, you asked what are the what are the benefits of that. So the benefits are certainly immense in terms of if you have RFID tag on each of the garment, you can do the entire inventory stock count of your store in less than half an hour. If you have RFID tag, you can scan the complete shelf or complete pallet with just one scan. So definitely it has application. It has been used widely in Europe and other countries. And with in an omni-channel world, even Indian organizations cannot stay away from it. So what work is going on, as Devdas has mentioned, cost is certainly hampering the usage of RFID tag in India. Cost is not feasible. So some innovation in terms of getting the cheaper RFID tags, whether it can be a part of a wash care label, which does not require the tags which don't have to be recycled. For example, can it be stitched to a garment like a wash care label? Can it, or some other label? Because there are so many labels which go with the garments. So those the research is going on that, and I think it's just a matter of time when we start using RFID tags.
Thank you.
Good evening. I just wanted to have some insight about what is the percentage of reverse logistics, whatever we are catering in terms of Indian brands. We are talking about too much of customer returns these days, correct? Be it fashion, be it hard goods, or be it electronics, etc., other gadgets. There's too much of customer returns because customer these days, wooing the customers, there are so many brands which are actually catering. So how about you, just an insight how we are going for the reverse logistics things. We are talking about sustainability here and etc. So any insight on that, that would be really helpful.
Maybe I can throw some numbers only for the e-commerce piece. Maybe what percentage gets returned for the retailers. One of the panelists can talk about. In e-commerce now, typically it's around 10 to 12% that comes back, that does not get delivered or customer rejects. Within that, say for fashion and clothing, it would be somewhere in the 8 to 10% range. For electronics, it would be less than 5%. It also depends what geography the product is going to. So we actually see that white goods, electronics, there's return percentages upward of 18% from the tier 3, tier 4 towns. And if you look at, or if you further look at the metros, the return percentages are less than 5% across product categories, because people are, very used to buying, they know what they're getting, etc. But maybe one of the retailers, what happened?
Can I add something? Zalando, who are actually as I mentioned, the Zappos of Europe, they consider anything with a 41% return good. So I completely agree with what you're saying. I think, trying to forecast demand based on sales data is completely a waste of time, because you don't know what's coming back. The other innovation which is fascinating is that they've created pop-up drop-off centers. So they buy used containers, they turn them into DHL drop-off stations. So you order 4 pairs of shoes because you don't know what's going to fit. You can return on a 90-day or a 120-day no money back return policy, or full money back return. They try on the 1 pair, they keep the 1 pair. As they go to work, next to the tube station or the bus station, there's actually a pop-up DHL center. So that's where this is going. Another point is, how do you make money if this is what's going to happen? And I think that's going to be the challenge. If 41% return rate is considered good, we get awards if our product doesn't come back more than 41%. So that's the scary part of what's happening.
Why customer returns are on the higher side? Because it is the acceptability of the industry to provide you the best service. If I talk about garment industry, the genuine returns because of the quality defects are equal to the level of 6 Sigma because of the actual quality returns. Otherwise, in every garment, you can read the wash instructions and the instruction how to handle a garment. Generally, people don't handle it like that. And then they find that, okay, it has gone bad, the quality is not okay, I want to return it, color is not okay, the press is not okay, the fabric is not okay. It is only because we want to provide the best service, okay, we are taking it back. That's why the returns are on the higher side. If we actually reject, this is not the quality problem, we will not take it back, it will come down to 6 Sigma level, the customer returns. That's how it works, especially in the garment industry.
Oh, can I? See, I recently met a UK retailer, as you rightly said. The fashion return percentage is 50%. Okay, they're saying that the young crowd, if they want to buy 1 piece, they actually call for 5 pieces. They want to actually select, okay, and return the 4 pieces. They are ready to pay the logistic cost. Okay, so this is that is a trend in some part of UK, and it's as good as 45 to 50%.
I think we have time for one more question.
One more? Okay, it goes to the lady there.
To continue with the RFID issue, as you said that RFID tags are recyclable. So that adds to the actual cost of that, and then you keep on recycling it on a regular basis, and you remove the tag from one garment and you put it on another product. Okay. So in that way, the cost is being borne by the company, or maybe it is getting added to the products, but not in a huge amount. But what so you said just now, that if you are integrating the RFID tags into the tags of the garment, now the moment you are adding technology to the garments, don't you think the product price will also increase, the costing of the product will increase, and ultimately the MRP?
So, see, no retailer would like to increase the cost of the product. That's the prime objective. And that's why the implementation of RFID tag is delayed in the industry. So, you have to balance between the use of non-recyclable RFID tag and the cost associated with recycling an RFID tag. So, RFID tag cannot be attached to the garment in the store. Currently, the security tags, which we mistake as RFID tags, those are attached to the garments in the store. Those are actually not those RFID tags which carry the product information. They are only to prevent the theft. So the moment we talk about RFID tag, complete product information needs to be incorporated in that tag, which can happen only at the source, at the manufacturing. So RFID tag, if they are attached to the garment at the time of manufacturing, and then when they go to the store and the tags are removed from the garment, the tags have to go back to the manufacturer. Stores cannot send the tags directly to the manufacturers. Like a company like Pantaloons have 300 manufacturers, outsourced manufacturers who manufacture the garments. We sell about 4.5 crores of garments every year. So imagine the cost. If the RFID tag costs 10 rupees, we would have to first invest 45 crore rupees across as a capex to use that technology. And then recycling cost, that is managing the entire supply chain so that the manufacturers have the tags at any point of time when they are manufacturing. So we'll have to consider the complete inventory in the supply chain at the DCs, at the stores, plus every season what we are buying, that many tags we'll have to manufacture, and then the transportation cost. So stores will have to send it to the warehouses will have to account it in their WMS, then they have to dispatch it to the manufacturers. We have done a pilot on that, and we are working towards it. So you cannot escape. In near future, you'll have to adopt that technology. But because the product cost should not increase, that's the only reason why it's getting delayed. Yeah.
Okay, we're completely out of time. You could take that offline, okay? Thank you very much. Let's put our hands together for the entire panel for the Customer Experience Forum powered by GATI.